great and all. You know, it looks pretty cool, but the range isn't that good, and it's not really that fast. So, you know, it needs more power. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a 330 watt motor in this tiny car. So it's gonna go pretty fast, I can tell you that. And it's just a matter of being able to hook it all up. So we're going to see if we can fit it all in there and see what happens. Alright, so we're going to start by removing the body off of the frame, and for that there's just a couple screws on the bottom, and then we can take a look and see what's inside. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, so it looks like we have our motor right here, and it goes into a little gearbox which powers the differential. And a differential, it's basically you can just lock up one of the wheels and the other one can still spin. So if we can put the motor in that, that'd be great, just to have two-wheel drive. And then here at the front, we have this little motor here to power the steering. We're gonna change that to a small servo. And then also the receiver and all the electronics, you can see in there, we're gonna replace all those. And yeah, so we're gonna take this cover off here and see if we can stick our brushless motor in the spot of this one. So what I used to get to the motor, since the cover would not just come apart, I ended up using a screwdriver and just heated it up and then used that to just melt through the plastic, and then I could get out of the way. Alright, so we don't need this old motor anymore. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out the whole area here where the old motor went, and we're gonna see if we can get our brushless motor and attach it to just this little shaft here which connects to the wheel. So we're gonna cut this whole area out here and see if we can connect our motor. Alright, so you can see I just kind of melted the plastic off, and what we're gonna try and do is see if we can get our motor and make some type of coupling, so we can connect to the shaft here which controls this wheel, and then maybe we can just mount the motor on the side here, connect to this one wheel, and then the car will just be one-wheel drive, which I think it should work as well. So I just cut the shaft in half with some big bolt cutters, and the left wheel doesn't come out, which is good, and we got the right wheel out. So now we're going to see if we can just hook the motor up to the shaft here, and the motor will support it and keep it in place. Alright, so to get the motor on, I just melted this little piece of plastic here. I think it used to be like an old belt drive piece, and it fits on the shaft of the brushless motor like perfect. So I just melted it on there, and now we can just stick the motor right into here like that, and then it can spin. So I'm going to just put some hot glue on there to reinforce it, and then we can just get this motor here and put it in the car like that. Alright, so the motor is all glued in, and now I'm going to start taking out the old electronics, and we'll put in our speed controller, our servo we still have to install on the front, and then we'll pretty much be done with electronics. We can put the body on and see if it works. Alright, so I glued the servo in, and then I put this little bracket back on. I just had to cut out the section where the servo would sit. And the motor is all glued in there. The one tire the motor's on does stick out, and it also has a bit of a wobble in it, but I think that should be fine. But first what we're going to do is see if we can fit the battery underneath the cover with the speed controller and receiver, and then we'll put the cover on and go take it for a test drive. So if you look on the body, this is where the little exhaust pipes come out. So I took that piece out and I could put the battery cable through there, and then I'm just gonna have to sit the battery right there in the seats, just because underneath the body there's no room to put it. So I'm gonna glue the battery in here, and then I'm going to glue the speed controller in here with the receiver, and then we'll put the cover on. Alright, there we go, I got the cover on. It does kind of look funny with the one wheel sticking out, and I did have to put some glue just to keep the rubber from slipping on the rim, just because it broke loose. So turn the remote on. And if I give a tiny bit of throttle. Alright, so now we're gonna go take it outside and go down the street. Alright, so the wheel just fell off. The motor was spinning like a couple more rotations than the tire inside of this hole here, so it made it a bit too big. So the 3D printed car, its tire might just fit on here. So I'm gonna go grab that and see if it fits. And it fits. So I'm going to tighten down this little nut here, and then we can go try it out again. Alright, so I just stuck the rubber from the old wheel onto the 3D printed wheel, and we're going to try it again and see if it works. And this time we're just not going to put the cover on. So yeah, the car has a lot more power. And what I like about this is that it has more power, but at the same time, the body kind of looks the same, at least from the one side. This side does look a bit different with the orange tire and the cable coming out. I could even eventually hook up the LEDs in the front and the back. But yeah, overall, I think it did pretty good. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.